Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 10 of Rannoch, our Boreal vanilla build. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Every time I load into this map, I get stuck at the BRT. Can't stop watching it move. It does beg the question, doesn't it? How busy would this be if we were using trams here for high capacity? But maybe we can do an elevated tram system. Maybe we can do a switch over at some point down the line. I'll have to wait and see. But either way, it is episode 10, everyone, so the public save file is down below. If you would like to come in and load into Rannoch and see what's going on. So to start the episode, well today I would like to cross the river and start developing these areas. In particular, I'm very keen to build a custom metro train hub over here with nightlife and condos around the edge of it. However, first of all, the demands of the city are very much leaning into industry, and I'm not really ready to build that second industrial area just yet. It's probably going to be forestry, but I think I'd rather have it more toward this area, which we don't have unlocked, or we could do it in this big bit of land as well near the motorway. We'll see. But it's not the plan for today. So just to satisfy a little bit of this demand, we're going to rezone a bunch of the industry that we did actually end up removing when the oil refinery came to fruition. So let's get this in, and then we can start on the nightlife train metro hub. So that should help do it. We will, of course, rebuild most of the generic industry at some point. Probably into a larger factory complex, I imagine. But either way, let's have some fun and games with this area, shall we? So let's deforest, we'll landscape everything here. And then let's start bringing across some bridges. So of course we're using cycling infrastructure over here. So we definitely want a cycling road. Now it could be argued we moved 6 lane at this point. And again, I know I'm getting distracted. I did want to bring the trams down here, didn't I? So do we want to explore that today as well? Because then we could talk about making it a tram cycling road, couldn't we? I think we will do it. Now, I do want to keep a lot of this area intact, but it is going to have to break off a little bit because I do want to bring this one-way tram line down. So, I mean, can you just go straight into that corner there? You can. We'll have to rebuild the stops around it, just move them 45 degrees around there so they make sense, but this does work. And then I'm happy to have... see, what sort of tram lane do we want here? Maybe we can go with the median. It's not one we use overly often, is it? And then where do we want to send this? Let's send it through the suburb. And it can come right past this school and then emerge back out onto the arterial over here. Seems like a good idea, doesn't it? And then from that, we then need to decide on another road we're going to use. Bicycle lanes and tram tracks, I think, is the go-to option here, isn't it? Although some of these historical buildings are stopping it, which is a shame. We'll have to wait for those to regrow. Yeah, so tram and cycling straight the way through here. And now this can form our bridge. So ideally, I'd like it to be units of 10. That's a happy 30 measurement there. And that's pretty much perfect, isn't it? So this is then going to go way over the hills and far away. Kind of, I mean, we could just keep it super straight. That would be a very impressive bit of kind of arterial infrastructure when the downtown is based around it. But we'll leave it there for right now because I'm not entirely sure how we're going to develop this area just yet, because it is pretty mountainous as well. Well, very hilly rather. It's likely we can bring the arterial under the motorway, which will be very cool, won't it, as we then build downtown around here, essentially, around this massive Y interchange. Cool. Anyway, we are happy again. So let's start formulating our ideas around here. So I absolutely would love an arterial road to come off of this one, and that's essentially just going to loop around this sort of peninsula landmass here. So in terms of what we want to do this, I really rather keep encouraging cycling everywhere. So I reckon we'll go for a cycling road. So let's do 4 lane with decorative trees and grass, why not? So let's just move this all the way around so it comes back up and connects into the arterial. Cool, and then for right now, we'll also provide another connection into there so people can get back and forth, and then we'll leave these as our dead arterials ready to be expanded at some point in the very distant future. The next bit I want to look at is these little numbers. Oh, is that one of Rannoch's vegan bears? I think it is, isn't it? How exciting. There he goes. I'm sure he's on the look for some tofu, I'm sure. Regardless, this tram line is now dead, of course. We need to fix that. Let's also provide a little mini tram turnaround point, which of course will be a temporary feature. Thinking we could bring the trams down here, but it's kind of a bit of a ways for them to loop back round that way, especially with the metro serving it. So I think we'll keep the trams heading into downtown, which will make a very good first-person tour one day, won't it? So I don't think we will turn them down there, actually. Let's just create them a little temporary turnaround loop here. Then again, actually, maybe we could bring them down toward the metro hub. It's going to make sense, isn't it? But only up until where that metro hub actually happens. So why don't we use this as an excuse to do that? Let's grab some pedestrian road. We'll switch up here. Let's move to cobblestone. And then I want to send that one straight across. Something like that. And then this is where we can formulate our dual metro train hub around this tram line now. So this is really where I want to start the build. So let's come into... So we do, of course, have a number of hubs, which are very nice, but I don't have ground level metro here. I would like to use this one, but just not here. In terms of underground metro, there shouldn't be any lines over this way. Let's have a little look underground. Yeah, there's this one coming over this way, but this will join this arterial. Besides that, there is no underground metro here, so we don't need to worry about an underground station. So it is going to be a custom one, so let's have a look at how we can position this. I think we'll probably use content creator stations, so let's have a look. So obviously they have to both be elevated. So this one would make a good shout for the metro. We have used this one before though. We don't need the bypass here either. And then there is the dual island here. So if we were to use the dual island, we could split the metro off, but again, with the train also accompanying it, I don't think that's really necessary. So Railroads of Japan would give us a similar aesthetic to what we're after. We have the train and the smaller metro stations, which do give us quite a distinct vibe, don't they? Especially when they're together like this. It's not as kind of modern and as over the top as well, which I like about these stations. Not everything's super clean, you know, they're a little bit kind of, you know, dirty, like they've got rain marks on them. That's what I like about these ones. Oh, there's the bear. Is our train here yet? I hope the train has a vegan food cart on it. I think we'll go with these two then. I think we'll go with these two. So we want to really line them up, ready to come in here. So we will place them on a pedestrian road again. We'll go for tree line middle, I think. And then like them, let's just draw this quite a bit further down than where we need it just yet. Probably that there. And then let's set up our dual hub here. So what configuration are we in? Let's just double check. Train is on the right, so we want to make sure that we respect that here as well. The metro will be on the left. And then we'll have train just across it on the right. Wicked. So that's generally the configuration I'm happy with. Let's get both of these hooked in. I think for the train line we will use the high-speed rail now from here. So that can carry on and now go in many different places, which is going to be really cool to see the elevated system especially develop into the downtown. Same with the metro as well. We've also got another train line here, but I think I'm going to keep this strictly intercity and then feed it into the downtown hub as well. So intercity trains can arrive there. So for right now, we'll just draw these out as a general straight line. We don't know where these are going to fill up to or eventually land. If you have any ideas of how we could use these networks, do let me know. I'm always open to those sorts of ideas. And then the same with that metro as well. I'd really love to keep these running parallel for quite a bit. I imagine that's going to be a pretty cool thing to see. Also just realised we could kind of also back the stations up back to back, couldn't we? Have them conjoined and essentially have the pedestrian roads on the outside here. Oh, there's a lot of ideas today. It's a tough one. I think I'm going to prefer them together. That way it kind of makes it look like one cohesive station. Let's go with that. We'll put a cut in here and then we'll get this configured. So I think that's definitely more the configuration I had in mind for this area. We've also named the area Adlam Square after a beautiful Patreon subscriber Louis Adlin, thank you for all of your support, mate. You're a secret blend of the old herbs and spices. And I can see this being my favourite transport hub. I really like how this sits. So these are Railroad of Japan assets if you don't have them. Great content creator pack, gives you a collection of some really nice stations. Special, so I think I'm happy with that. We are also going to give some specializations here as well. I'm going to give wall to wall, both residential and office, and then I think we'll give the nightlife leisure specialization for commercial, I think, yeah. It's going to be my way around it. That's really cool, isn't it? Let's get the trams arriving here anyway. In terms of where I want to send them, currently to loop against the waterfront would be ideal. Cool. So now our tram stops again at the couplet system, which we need to redetail now because that's slightly changed. Again in the suburb, once again at the underground metro for a little bit more convergence. And then it now completes its loop here, which will eventually run into downtown. If not, we'll create another kind of tram switch point here, as in this line will terminate here, while another tram line heads into downtown if we don't want that one to get too long, I don't think. We'll go with that. That's the general principle of what I want to achieve today, I think. Cool. Now got this big pedestrianised waterfront. It's going to be a lot of fun here, isn't it? With this transport hub. So I'd like to box in my stations here. Let's try and bring it underneath. I think we can. Very nice indeed. And then with these, we'll just have these go straight back into their local roads. Oh, you're slightly broken there, that's fine. We'll just allow the roads to come down first. So I think first and foremost, a good plaza would work quite nicely here, wouldn't it? Let's dive into our unit buildings. So we've done Statue of Wealth, sorry, Statue of Industry already, haven't we? So Plaza, Plaza, that's something quite big here. Possibly Statue of Shopping in the middle might be quite nice. I think we'll try to go with that. Let's bring some more pedestrian roads into play here. We'll also have to find a place for a service point around here at some point. So cut straight across. And then I reckon we'll do... So let's start to upgrade that into a chunky boy. Then we'll place our plaza. And then we can downgrade back into regular thin boy. And then that'll just extend that out. Fantastic. Cool. So we'll worry about the service points in a sec. Let's go ahead and start getting in some demands here as well. So I'd love... Gotta be careful where we're putting this stuff. So nightlife, I think, really nicely in and around the square. We'll mix and match some wall-to-wall office around here as well, I think. Let's maybe get some over this way. And then with the commercial, I'd definitely love all the nightlife to be kind of up and against the waterfront here. I want to make sure that I have as many connections, although these nodes are making it particularly more awkward. But as many connections back onto that waterfront road as possible from the inner transport hub. Let's totally redo this connection here too. So I just want to bring those pedestrian roads down onto the waterfront where it makes sense. So I'm happy for some more odd shapes to develop around here. We'll see what grows up. Bit more wall-to-wall in as well where we have the demands. So let's give these guys some services to make it an attractable area. We'll definitely have a med clinic. I'd love to have this nearby to the transport hub, I think. I think I'm actually going to downgrade some of the pedestrian roads back into tram with roads. I wouldn't mind this one here. Just up until that point, and then we'll go back into a regular road. So let's have this one come off down here, and this can go under the bridges to create more infrastructure wherever we find we need it. And then let's create a little bit of a space for our med clinic. Go ahead and get some parking in here. We'll have a car park there. Then we'll get our first service in, which is going to be med clinic. We could go up to, I mean, some of these are really expensive though. We don't really have the budget to sustain these larger hospitals yet. Do also have some content creator pack stuff as well. But we could get in one of the crematoriums actually. I wouldn't mind using this as part of the build today. Just because we do need some death care around the city. Let's also use this as an opportunity to place down our service point as well. Let's have a look where we can have this. I wouldn't mind this kind of in and around the station. So if we can find a spot for it. How about here? Let's go ahead and move the crematorium park along a little bit, and then can we just have our service point there? And then we'll push out this pedestrian area over the whole platform now. And then we'll also get those trains flowing as well. I think that's going to be tremendously exciting, isn't it? So our very first metro line is going to go from here, a station that's currently turned off actually, back to here, and then a very short trip back towards the stop again. And then our very first train line is going to go from here. It's going to stop here. And then it's going to go back there again. Now, currently, it doesn't hook in there, does it? We could hook it into this one, but I think I'd rather... Well, then again, maybe we should hook it into that one. Because this is a bypass line. Any intercity trains can just bypass the passenger line, so... let's do that. Let's have this one go down to here. And then we'll have it stop over that way. That way people can get very close to the stadium via the train line as well. Wonderful, that's going to make everyone extremely happy. Oh, would you look at this? Pick out our models, shall we? So, I imagine these are going to be extremely busy lines, so let's preempt that with... I wouldn't mind using the tube metro, we never really use that, and then this passenger train can be something a bit nicer. 240 capacity, let's do the commuter train. I think this is going to be high capacity vibes here. There we go, so we can see that wall-to-wall growing in now. So important aspect of the city build here is that as Rannoch grows up, we're obviously trying to create a very gradual crawl in height here. So as we cross the river, I very much want things to the left of the water here to be much more medium to high density, whereas everything to the right of the mouth of the river is kind of lower. Now I know we do have the occasional skyscraper, but much more so to be medium over this way, I think. That's the vibe I'm trying to go for anyway. Get some more wall-to-wall residential in. All these guys here can be grown up. And I think with this way, I'm also just going to do some amendments with our zoning tool as well to prioritize the zoning on the main road. There we go. That way we can just get a little bit more bang for our buck out of that. I'm excited to see these trams stop here. And where are they stopping? They're stopping right here. Which I'm happy with, I don't mind that at all. Nice, happy for a lot of these bigger nightlife buildings to get in here too. Now with this area here, I'm actually not sure what side I would like. I think I'd rather have everything facing into the square, I think. I think I'll go for a mix of wall-to-wall office, so let's do some blocks of that. And I'd love some nightlife in there as well. I want this place to be, you know, you kind of live, work and party here. Let's also get these trees upgraded on the pedestrian streets as well. Do the Palaven pines too much? Possibly. Maybe a little bit. Let's try maybe Eastern Cottonwood. It might be a little more subtle. Yeah, I think we can do that. A little bit of pedestrian area needed there as well. Fabulous. Let's keep all these buildings coming in. And it's very nice watching all these metro trains cross over that bridge, isn't it? Oh, would you look at that? Yes, please. This has been like the first proper envisionment I've had of Rannoch. Like I knew I wanted these stations to sit here. Phasing into what will be an eventual downtown skyline, right? How amazing is that view going to be eventually? With all those elevated networks heading into it. Very exciting. It looks like we've managed to cage the vegan bear here. Hopefully he's going to stay in the boundaries. Be nice, wouldn't it? We've got all this stuff really perfect. We're going to historicalize some of these wall-to-walls too. And don't forget, you can change the appearance of the wall-to-wall. You can select their variants. In most cases, anyway. Cool, loving that. In terms of this main central plaza, of course, airport aprons are also going to be very welcome, aren't they? You can do a lot of really fun detail in here during our time-lapse. So let's grab some airport aprons. Maybe if we use the smaller ones, can we be a little bit more subtle? Maybe we can leave a bit of a green gap in the middle, although it's not equidistant each side, but we can kind of trick it into thinking it is just by changing the angle of the airport aprons. Any people on the stops yet? Yeah, people coming in here now. On mainly the train, but I guess the train is heading quite a bit further distance. I would also like to disallow intercity trains from coming this far down the line as well. Don't really want them here. So also make sure we have fully encompassed pedestrian areas where needed. Cool. Now for these spaces behind, I'm not a massive lover of how they look. I wouldn't mind bringing off another road from somewhere, which is probably going to have to be pedestrian. So if I could draw it in, let's say there. Yeah, that's what I'm after. I just want to have a little bit more density behind. Probably do the same thing over here as well. Hopefully that one's going to come straight under. Oh, that metro bridge is just in the way. That's fine. We'll let the metro bridge take the other priority. And then here we want the zoning grid not to the guideline. Yeah, and then just like that. And then let's connect that metro back in as well so we don't forget. There we go. That's what I'm after. Just want that density around the tracks, I think. And then where we do have this space, we can probably fill it with fairly dense kind of Rannoch tree brush, I think, just through here. Maybe some smaller, finer placements needed as well. But we'll have a look at that in the time-lapse, I think. That's more of what I'm after there if this waterfront start developing. Very cool, isn't it? Let's not forget about the rest of the services as well. We, of course, need police, where we are definitely on a nightlife waterfront here. We'd certainly expect it, wouldn't we? So why don't we have this? I think relatively nearby to the station would be appropriate, wouldn't it? And let's use one of our high-capacity police headquarters too. Let's have you just off the main street here. Carry on getting some more nightlife into. Definitely want lots more of it around this area. And then with the crematorium park, just because it's such a big asset, could we actually get away with including it as part of the plaza? As I've mentioned this before, but it doesn't look like a crematorium, does it? If anything, it looks more like a kind of an art museum or something. Comes with Hearts of Korea pack, by the way, if you're wondering. And then with all these little walkthroughs here, we can really blend it in more with the airport apronage. And then if we were to have a look at that, it just kind of blends it into the overall plaza space, doesn't it? Which I'm not averse to. We could also double this up if we ever wanted to increase death care capacity as well. We could also maybe draw up another pedestrian road, and would it fit there? It would fit there. And we could have it that way instead. Facing out onto this plaza. I'm not sure. It's actually quite a hard choice. Not sure how I feel about that. I think we'll leave it in for right now and we'll see how it grows on us. And we'd love to have this one as trees as well. And then let's get some smaller little roadies down here too. Cool, yeah, I think that's what we'll go for. And I reckon we'll also feed this road back up onto that station platform as well so people can get through there. Now I've done it, do I want to fully box in the plaza? So we have just changed out a bunch of these trams for a new higher capacity one. If we can see them re-emerging up to the 116, because this line is getting quite, like, really busy now, especially down towards these stops here. So we've now got 116 capacity trams moving around here. And then while they do move around, this does feel like a good point for a detailing time-lapse. I want to bring keys around this entire landmass here. Pathways onto them will make it a walkable key, so it very much mirrors the aesthetic we have over here with the park. And then lots of trees detailing, big plaza spaces to fill, and we also need a fire station over here as well. Probably a little bit more nightlife as well. I think we'll probably kind of end the build here, and this might be a really nice area for kind of a big park build through this way in this space, maybe. Kind of a little bit of a mini Central Park kind of vibe. And then really like how all this turned out too. Really got some like nice authentic walkways from the main street through to the plaza here, haven't we? Thanks to the wall-to-wall stuff. I really like how that sits. And then lots of detailing in the plaza spaces and really bring this kind of custom train metro hub to life. Should be a lot of fun. But let's do some detailing and then we'll be right back. Okay guys, let's have a little detailed review, shall we? First of all, I'd just like to acknowledge the crawl to kind of medium density across the other side of that river there. It turned out really nice, didn't it? From way back in the city now we can see that little spike, and as the downtown continues to grow around that, and down that big arterial, of course, it will continue to grow. So let's head in. First of all, we'll come over here. There is a little recycling centre here, just because I was getting garbage parts, but obviously to be developed in something else at some point. And then this is the cutoff for the build over here. We just have some regular commercial heading down into the street. And there's something to be said for the combination of water wall and nightlife. It's turned out really nicely. Some installments along the waterfront here. Parks, tennis courts, car parking. Commercial that isn't specialised to be nightlife. And then info booths, parks, benches, detailing, little bits of ice cream parlourage here, etc. And then over here we do have a little pathway that pops back over to the park in Sherry, which is very nice, which will be following a ton more people through these gates and should be making quite a bit of money now. I've chosen not to put the other gates on the other side because that would be full part life cheese. But this is getting a taste, a bit of usage, so you know what, we'll whack that money up. We'll charge them £40 to cross the pedestrian bridge essentially, which is fine. And then over here, we also have some really nice views where we have installed a number of the high capacity plazas and promenade schools over here too. Nice car parking designs next to them. And there's something to be said for walking down the streets of this area. They feel very authentic, I think. Again, coming back to that blend of wall to wall and nightlife really worked out, doesn't it? Down here, really nice blend of the service point, and see the zoning coming in there as well. Like, as useful as plopping is and how it is usually my preferred method to go. Zoning coming into play here as well, where you do get these random prop generations. A line sense, be like, what a little alleyway for vanilla, right? Really nice bit of personality just to that little street corner. Really like that. And it continues all the way down here. Wall to wall is really nice. I have all these little indents here. Adds so much personality to the curbside, doesn't it? And then comes into this big open plaza, which is super busy. And the train station is very, very busy as well. And we'll have a look at the numbers here as well. So 147 have just gotten on. And then there's a number of hundreds waiting at the other stops and stations. You can imagine how busy this is going to get as that eventually heads into our main high density district down there, right? It's going to be pretty incredible, I think. And the metro isn't as busy as the train station. We'll take a look at this one. It's getting a little bit of use, but honestly, it doesn't really go anywhere just yet. Whereas the train station does. It's going to 2 stations, a stadium and an outside connection. I expect this will get more busier again as the metro develops down here across the deltas, which will turn our attention to in the not too distant future, I think, because I think we'll come back and fill this space before we move on to downtown, just to drag it out and tease it a little bit more. So metro will get busier then, I think. But regardless, there's lots of little designs around here. It's very cute. Added some benches into the side. Bit up more wall to wall with the open interactive plaza spaces here, which makes a massive difference, doesn't it? Graded a little section of the road to be totally wide. And then even angled some airport apronage around here just to make some more believable corner spaces. Didn't really like how these were looking with the overgrowth, so some tactical airport apron, if you like, and then just some props to fill the space and pathways to make it walkable. And what a difference it makes in vanilla, just for creating, again, I'll say it every episode, but like open, cohesive, flowing, walkable concrete space for a plaza in vanilla is super powerful. Look at that tram line as well, this place. Just a proper little busy tram transport hub. It's absolutely brilliant. Whilst we are also talking about the trams, we'll check out the new stop over here as well in the suburb. That has just been reshaped and redesigned with extra prop work. Again, a really nice concrete space here. So trams are pretty busy, and then we've got some larger numbers toward this end as well. 400 waiting here. 160 down this one. So super busy line. It's really nice to see the trams in use as well. Again, also colliding here with underground metro too, don't forget. So the public transport kind of web is really starting to interweave in Rannoch. It's becoming very addictive, isn't it? The whole walking bus. And then down here we have some more park spaces again, all helping to attract people to the area and just spike the land value through the roof here. This should be like a super expensive place to live, I think, if we do have to check land value. Yeah, look at that. Ridiculous. Super expensive office and residential space, but Really nice views though, like turning that eye from the build for a minute, you can see the suspension bridge from here. Huge mountain range, which is absolutely fantastic, isn't it? And you know what, I think something we never do is name our mountain ranges, is it? So I think what I'll ask you guys, I guess, is we'll do a question of the episode, not done one for quite a while actually. Is for you guys to name the strait, first of all. What is this called? Is it a river? Is it a lake? Give me a name for it. And then a name for the mountain range over to what is the south, I think. The southern mountain range, yeah. Has to let me know what that is. And then little walking pathways here, just to create space back and two between the keys. It's just blend in some really nice apartments down here. Nice little kind of waterfront vistas to be had from those balconies, isn't there? And it all came out really nicely. Filled the back of it with trees as well, just to avoid the kind of awkward curve in vanilla. Really like how the trees behind it work too. And then that really kind of starts this side of the island with a super little detailed nightlife plaza here. I'm a super big fan of watching it. It is a lot of fun to watch as well. There's tons of walking here, I think. Otherwise, that will do it for today. A massive shout out to the patrons that support the channel, with a special roll call to Louis Adlam and Oh Hey Casino. If you do want to get involved in Patreon, there are links down below to that and Instant Gaming, which are the best ways to support the channel. Thank you so much for all the support. We should have had our 100k special by the time this hits, but thank you so much for that milestone again. It's still crazy to see so many new people coming to the channel, enjoying videos both old and new as well. There's a ton of content on the channel to go through, so please do check it out if you are enjoying the current series that you are watching. Otherwise, Rannoch is continuing to develop really beautifully. I'm really just loving the flow of the networks here. So much fun to be back in Boreal as well. Just the whole vibe and the atmosphere of Boreal vanilla, I think, is possibly my favourite way to enjoy City Skylines as a whole. Like, as fun as modded is, something so charming about this, isn't there? Really loved this plaza today. Either way, do enjoy those cinematics, but I'll show up and leave it there. I'd like to thank you all so much indeed for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.